Greetings everyone, my name is Cherie and today we're going to be talking about where to buy sewing machines. A lot of people have asked me to make a video about where I shop for machines, but I have been reluctant to do so because whenever I share something here online, it ends up becoming something that is in demand and then everybody is looking for the same thing in the same place, and I really do not want that to happen. So therefore I'm going to be very strategic about how I share the places where I shop for machines. That way everybody's not looking for the same thing in the same place, and that way everybody can get a good deal for what they are shopping for. Whenever you get a machine, it's either going to be new or pre-owned, and I really do urge you to keep an open mind when it comes to this, because you may be searching for a pre-owned machine and find a brand new one that is a better fit, or vice versa. Whether it be a brand new machine or a used one, oftentimes the best place to shop is your local dealer, because local dealers have brand new machines in that you can test out on the floor, and oftentimes customers will bring in machines on trade-in, and those trade-in machines will be for sale at the local dealer as well for you to be able to test them out, and you can get some really good deals this way. And also it's best because you can actually touch the machine, test it out, try it before you take it home. And two, dealers often offer special deals, like you might get an additional presser foot as an incentive, or you might get some squares, some quilting fabric to go along with your purchase. It just depends on your local dealer and what it's like in your local area. Also, I have found that a lot of local dealers do have a service center inside of the store, so you can easily get your machine serviced at the same place regardless of if you bought it pre-owned or brand new. And who isn't a fan of that? Another place that I oftentimes shop for sewing machines is at Sewing Machines Plus. They do have both brand new and restored machines online that they offer, and this place is based out of California. I made a few purchases from them, really liked them, and then decided to become an affiliate. But my affiliate association has nothing to do with me saying that they are a decent place to pick up sewing machines from. The thing that I like about this online store is that they have a area where you can chat with a representative online and be able to ask them any sort of questions that you might have about the sewing machine before you make the purchase. A while back, Bed Bath & Beyond got into some financial trouble and they closed out a bunch of their stores and then started having a online store to grow bigger, and this online store merged with overstock.com. For a while I thought that overstock.com was going away and that it was just going to be Bed Bath & Beyond, but now I see that they have two separate websites, and these two companies, or one company, are a wonderful place to purchase sewing machines from. They work much like Amazon in that there are many different sellers on the platforms. The thing is that sometimes you can apply the coupons for Bed Bath & Beyond and Overstock to your sewing machine purchase. You just have to add the coupon on there and see if it will apply. And I have gotten some pretty good deals by shopping on overstock.com for sewing machines. In fact, my multi-needle embroidery machine came from overstock.com, and I got an excellent deal that I would not have been able to get at a local dealer. Well, those are three of the main places where I shop for brand new sewing machines. We're going to talk about pre-owned machines, but before we do, please do take the time to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. I'm more of a person for shopping pre-owned sewing machines, as oftentimes the pre-owned sewing machines are gently used and still in great condition. One of my favorite places to shop for pre-owned machines is Mercari, and you would say, why? Well, I like shopping on Mercari because you can set it to local and actually have the machine delivered to your house via local delivery, and the price is quite reasonable. You don't get as much of a selection of machines that way, but it's much safer that way because you don't have to meet a stranger at an undisclosed location. Instead, you simply type your address into Mercari and the machine gets delivered directly to your house. If you don't find favor with any of the sewing machines in your local area, you can shop on the main Mercari page and find sewing machines there that can be shipped to your location. I much prefer doing it this way if I have to, because the customer service with Mercari seems to be a bit easier to deal with than some of the other platforms that I've dealt with in the past. Now, you must consider the shipping costs when you are looking at a sewing machine on Mercari or any of these other sites, because shipping prices can be quite high for some of the vintage sewing machines that weigh a lot. If you go to estatesales.net, you can find different tag sales and estate sales in your local area and be able to figure out whether or not any of those tag sales or estate sales have sewing machines. And I have got quite a few good deals just by browsing this site maybe once a week and looking for estate sales that I could go to and get a machine. One of the limiting factors of this is that the tag sales and estate sales typically only take place on the weekends. And for me personally, I don't shop on Saturdays. I only shop on Sundays or Fridays. So that pretty much limits my ability to buy sewing machines via this method. But you may find some favor with doing things by shopping via estatesales.net. One other thing is that shopping estate sales are wonderful if they are not online sales. A lot of times the estate sales on estatesales.net will be just local, which is great, but then there are times when the sellers put things on a site like ProBidX where you have to go online and bid for the product instead of going to the house where the item is. And when things are done this way, they tend to cost a lot more because then you have multiple people bidding on the same item, and sometimes the prices can get quite steep. And I have seen sewing machines on the bidding websites like ProBidX to go way above the price that they're actually worth. So that is just something to recognize and think about before you decide to buy a pre-owned sewing machine. I do kind of have to dial back a little bit of what I said about the ProBidX. Yes, sometimes the prices can be higher when you're bidding on an online bidding site, but other times, like if you get onto ProBidX at a time that nobody else is online, you can really get some great deals. In fact, my Singer Featherweight came from ProBidX. At that particular time, there was hardly anybody online, and it was only me and one other lady bidding on the sewing stuff that was in this lot. And there were two Singer Featherweights in the lot. One of them was white, the other one black. She bid on the white machine, I bid on the black machine, and got it at a steal of a deal. And I paid way less for my featherweight than I would pay for a featherweight on Facebook Marketplace or any of these other sites where they're being sold. A few years ago, I was getting pretty much all of my sewing machines to review from Goodwill. And this was wonderful for me because I could get a sewing machine for a really good price, review it, and then return it back to Goodwill without having lost a tremendous amount of money. But over the years, this has really changed as Shop Goodwill Online has emerged, because a lot of the Goodwill stores now don't even bother to put these sewing machines out on the floor. Instead, they take a picture of it and post it on Shop Goodwill Online. There is a story surrounding this that you may be interested in hearing. This story is one that I heard from a former Goodwill employee. Allegedly, customers would purchase a sewing machine, especially the ones in table, from the store, and agree to come back and pick it up at a later date. But instead, what they were doing is taking a picture of that machine in the store and selling it on eBay at a higher price that was sometimes triple the amount that they were selling it at inside of Goodwill. When the customer would come into Goodwill to pick up their machine, they would be furious because they would see the original price tag of the machine. And also, these machines take up floor space inside the store, so that meant that Goodwill couldn't sell other items because this item was taking up space. So allegedly, this is what happened and what led to them deciding to post the sewing machines online themselves, allegedly. You can still find some sewing machines inside of Goodwill, but you have to look much harder than you had to in the past. A lot of times the sewing machines inside the Goodwill store will be tucked away inside of a plastic storage bin. Other times you will find them inside of an old piece of luggage. And I have found them that way, and they were found that way because people just didn't notice there was a sewing machine inside. Once again, you can find sewing machines inside of Goodwill stores, but you really do have to look 10 times harder than you had to in the past. Shop Goodwill online is a decent place to find sewing machines, but there are a few obstacles. One, the sought after sewing machine models are no longer at the cheap prices that you used to be able to find them at. With everyone bidding for the same machine, the prices end up getting pretty high for the highly sought after machines. Now, the machines that aren't sought after usually don't get any bids at all, and these are wonderful machines currently to be able to get in order to use for parts to refurb another machine. I've done that quite a few times, but I know that this could change as I tell you this information online, because a lot of people will probably start going to Shop Goodwill online and looking for machines there because I just made it public knowledge. The secondary problem that you could run into is that there is no return policy with Shop Goodwill online. You simply get what you get. So if the machine comes damaged in shipping, then oh well, you just lost the money. But there is a bright side to this, because Shop Goodwill online does have it where you can call the local store and schedule a time to actually physically come pick up the machine. But of course, this only works if you live somewhere in the local area and can come pick the machine up. One of the often overlooked places to shop for sewing machines is Habitat for Humanity. Normally, people think of Habitat for Humanity as a place to shop for kitchen cabinets and furniture. However, there are often sewing machine tables that come into Habitat for Humanity, and these tables have sewing machines inside of them. One of the challenges that Habitat for Humanity has is that a lot of the employees do not sew and don't know that the sewing machine can be removed from the table. This makes the sewing machine table a lot harder to sell, because the vast majority of folks that are going into Habitat for Humanity are going inside of there for furniture and not for a sewing machine, and they will pass up the sewing table if they realize it has a sewing machine in it and they would rather use it for an end table. So what you can do is make a deal with the owner of the store. If you can find them, tell them that you can remove that you would be able to remove the sewing machine from the table, and that they can sell the table separately if they would like. If they agree to that and are willing to give you a discount, then great. But if they're not willing to do that, then understand, and I suppose just move on. I have noticed that it just depends on what Habitat for Humanity that you go to. The store in my local area has an owner that has a very difficult time with getting rid of the sewing machine tables because of the sewing machines inside of them. So I've made a deal with her that I will come and pick up the machine. That way she can easily sell the table. Now, I do understand that a lot of people would like to keep the table, and that is just fine. However, me personally, I don't like to keep the tables because I have a limited amount of space, and I'm not keeping a table unless I see that it is an outstanding table that is rare and that can hardly be found anywhere. Most times the table is not in that great of condition anyway. It would take a tremendous amount of refurb in order to get it looking really nice anyhow. So I tend to want to discard the table and just take the machine. Local thrift stores are often overlooked as a place to find sewing machines, but I have found lots of sewing machines inside of local thrift stores because local thrift stores often do not have an online presence and only sell in store. One of the disadvantages of shopping at a local thrift store, however, is that they have to pay their rent. So they will mark up the price of a sewing machine as they think they've got them something that is rare and that can sell for a lot. But a lot of times they have a hard time moving these machines, and you can often negotiate the price down. I found a Singer, I believe this is a Singer 66, and I found it inside of the local thrift store about a week ago. It does come in the Brentwood case, and it does have the knee lever with it, which is pretty nice. The only thing is that I really don't think this machine is worth $99, as it has the electrical wiring on it replaced, and I don't know how good or bad that electrical wiring is, and the machine is pretty dirty and would really need to be serviced before it could be used. Therefore, I most likely would not spend $1 more than $60 on this machine because of the condition of it. Now, would the shop owner agree with me? Probably not. But honestly, I wouldn't spend this much money on the machine. I know that many of you will say, what about Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace? Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace are both awesome places to find sewing machines. However, there are a few obstacles to purchasing from these platforms. One, you don't know who you are buying from or who will show up when you decide to purchase that machine. You also do not know where the machine is going to be picked up from. If the person tells you this address or porch pickup, you don't know if that area is in a seedy area of town or if it is in a nice side of town. You just do not know. So there is a safety issue there. And I do understand that Facebook Marketplace offers online sales and that sort of thing, but it can be sketchy if you do not know the person who you are buying from, because you don't know if you will receive anything or if you will receive the same item as what you intended on ordering. Another issue with shopping these two platforms is that when you communicate with someone online that you do not know, wires can easily get crossed and people can show up at incorrect times and just waste a lot of time and money. So it is really best to get an item from a place that is solid, that you know exactly where you're shopping from. And I have found some sellers on Facebook Marketplace that are an actual store that are trying to get rid of their sewing machines and have found some awesome deals that way. So I wouldn't discount shopping on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, but the things that I told you are real things that you ought to consider. Well, these are all the places that I consider when purchasing a sewing machine. I hope that this guide has been helpful, and I've also created a list over on my website that you can check out as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you have any other places that you shop for sewing machines, please do list them down in the comment section below, as I will be happy to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to receive more sewing related content. Peace.